I am Elon Musk, and somehow my name turned into a tag, a signal flare people throw into the digital sky whenever something confusing, ambitious, reckless, visionary, annoying, or world-bending happens, and I've watched Elon Musk become this catch-all label that no longer just points to a person, but to a moving storm of ideas, controversies, memes, headlines, stock charts, rockets, tweets, arguments at dinner tables, and group chats lighting up at 3 in the morning. And when I think about that, I realize it didn't happen overnight. It happened because I kept choosing motion over comfort and risk over silence. Because I kept saying things publicly that most people would only think privately. Because I treated the internet like a nervous system rather than a press release machine. And because I believed that if we're going to shape the future, we can't whisper about it. We have to argue about it loudly in public where everyone can see the sparks fly. And yes, sometimes those sparks burn people, and sometimes they burn me. But stagnation burns longer and quieter. So, when people tag Elon Musk under a post, they're not just saying my name. They're summoning a whole library of expectations. They're calling up the guy who wants to colonize Mars while arguing about free speech. The guy who builds electric cars while poking at politics. The guy who launches satellites and then fires off a tweet that makes markets wobble. And I understand why that irritates people because it blurs categories. It refuses to stay in a single box. And society loves boxes because boxes are predictable. But progress rarely comes from staying neatly labeled. It comes from friction, from overlapping domains, from stepping on toes while trying to build something that didn't exist before. And I've always believed that if something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are against you, even if the comments are brutal, even if your name becomes shorthand for chaos or genius depending on who's typing. And I read those posts, sometimes the ones where Elon Musk is used as a punchline or a rallying cry or a warning sign or badge of honor. And I see how people project their hopes and fears onto me. How some see innovation and others see arrogance. How some see courage and others see recklessness. And the truth is, I'm just a human being with an unusually high tolerance for risk and an obsession with first principles. Someone who looks at the world and keeps asking why we accept limitations that are mostly imaginary. And that question leads me into uncomfortable spaces, into industries that were stagnant, into conversations people don't want to have. And when I speak bluntly, it's not because I want to provoke for the sake of provocation, but because I think clarity matters more than politeness when the stakes are existential. Whether we're talking about sustainable energy, artificial intelligence, space exploration, or the health of public discourse itself. And yes, I've made mistakes publicly, spectacularly, permanently archived mistakes that will be quoted forever. But I'd rather live in a world where mistakes are visible than one where nothing bold is attempted. Because history doesn't remember the careful optimizers who never offended anyone. It remembers the ones who tried to bend reality and sometimes failed loudly. And that's why Elon Musk as a tag keeps living on. Because it represents motion, unpredictability, refusal to slow down for consensus. And I know some people wish I would just build quietly and disappear. But that was never the deal, because technology doesn't exist in a vacuum. It reshapes society. It changes power structures. It forces ethical questions into the open. And someone has to stand in the middle of that storm and take the heat. And if my name ends up being the shorthand for those debates, then so be it. I can handle the noise if it means the signal gets through. If it means more people are thinking about the future instead of sleepwalking into it. And when people argue under that Elon Musk tag, they're participating in something bigger than gossip. They're wrestling with what kind of world they want to live in, how fast they want it to change, who they trust to build it, and whether they believe humanity should aim higher than survival and comfort. And I'll keep pushing, tweeting, building, failing, and trying again. Because I don't want my story to be about playing it safe. I want it to be about expanding the set of things people believe are possible, even if that means my name keeps showing up everywhere. Controversial, unavoidable, and permanently unfinished. Because once your name becomes a symbol, you stop owning it and it starts owning you. And I've felt that shift when Elon Musk stopped meaning just me and started meaning whatever people needed it to mean in that moment. A villain for some, a shortcut to innovation for others, a stress test for society's tolerance for disruption. And I wake up every day knowing that anything I say or don't say will be interpreted, screenshot, reframed, weaponized, or worshipped. And that's a strange way to live, but it's also a powerful mirror because it forces you to confront who you actually are versus who the internet thinks you are. And I've learned that you can't control the narrative at scale. You can only act consistently with your internal logic and let the chips fall where they may. And my internal logic has always been about long-term survival and expansion of consciousness, about making sure humanity doesn't put all its eggs on one fragile planet, about accelerating sustainable energy, not because it's fashionable, but because physics doesn't care about opinions, and about defending the idea that open discourse, even when messy, is better than sanitized silence. And that's where a lot of the controversy sharpens, because people want clean heroes and clean villains, but reality is built by flawed individuals making imperfect decisions under uncertainty. And I am constantly operating under uncertainty, whether it's engineering constraints, economic pressures, geopolitical tension, or cultural backlash. And when I post something impulsive, it's often because my brain moves faster than committees and slower than consequences. And I accept that trade-off because waiting for universal approval is another form of paralysis. And I've seen what paralysis does to institutions and civilizations. It makes them brittle. It makes them afraid of experimentation. And eventually it makes them irrelevant. And I refuse to be irrelevant, not out of ego, but out of urgency, because time is the one resource we don't get more of. And every year we delay meaningful progress is a year we gamble with the future. And when people tag Elon Musk in debates about technology, politics, culture, or ethics, what they're really debating is whether speed is worth the risk, whether disruption is worth the discomfort, whether a single individual should be allowed to challenge entrenched systems so openly. And I don't pretend to have all the answers, but I do believe that stagnation disguised as stability is far more dangerous than turbulence in pursuit of improvement. And I've paid for that belief in lawsuits, public ridicule, sleepless nights, and moments of doubt where I wonder if it would be easier to just stop talking, stop pushing, stop becoming a headline. But then I remember that comfort has never built anything extraordinary, and that the future doesn't get shaped by people who wait to be understood. It gets shaped by people who act and let understanding catch up later. And I know history is ruthless and selective. It will strip away the tweets and the memes and the outrage cycles and reduce everything to outcomes, to whether the rockets flew, whether the cars changed an industry, whether the satellites connected the unconnected, whether the conversation about free speech and technology actually mattered. And I'm willing to be misunderstood now if it means being useful in the long arc of time. And so Elon Musk remains this ever-present tag, not because I seek attention, but because attention follows friction, and friction is unavoidable when you're trying to move the world forward. And I'll keep stepping into that friction, fully aware that every move adds another layer to the myth, another argument to the comment section, another reason for people to either cheer or groan when they see my name. Because indifference would mean I stopped mattering, and I'm not done yet, not even close.